Tributes have been paid to 3 victims who lost their lives in Storm Ophelia-related incidents: Fintan Goss, Michael Pike and Claire O'Neill. Michael Pike, who was killed during Storm Ophelia, and Claire O'Neill, who was killed in a car accident during Storm Ophelia. Michael Pike, who was killed during Storm Ophelia. Claire O'Neill, who was killed in a car accident during Storm Ophelia. Locals cut up and clear a fallen tree which had been blocking the road for most of the day on the Lake Slip Road, near the Salmon Leap this evening after Hurricane Ophelia spray splashes over a car at the point in Westport Co. Mayo as Storm Ophelia batters the country. Photo Keith Hennigan. Focus. Locals cut up and clear a fallen tree which had been blocking the road for most of the day on the Lake Slip Road, near the Salmon Leap this evening after Hurricane Ophelia. Gardaí and Dundalk Fire Brigade attend the scene of an accident at Ravensdale outside Dundalk where a fallen tree struck a car during Storm Ophelia. Picture Arthur Karen. Gardaí and Dundalk Fire Brigade attend the scene of an accident at Ravensdale outside Dundalk where a fallen tree struck a car during Storm Ophelia. Picture Arthur Karen. A fallen tree struck at Thistle Cross outside Dundalk during Storm Ophelia. Picture Arthur Karen. Storm scenes at Tramore Co. Waterford. Picture Dylan Vaughan. Hurricane Ophelia hitting Fennet in County Kerry. Photo Mark Condren. 16,917. Gardaí. The Coast Guard in the RNLI helicopter at Blackrock in Co Louth where windsurfers were surfing during Storm Ophelia. Picture Arthur Karen. A fallen tree on Northbrook Road, Ranelagh, which was blown over during Storm Ophelia. A fallen tree on Northbrook Road, Ranelagh, which was blown over during Storm Ophelia. A fallen tree on Northbrook Road, Ranelagh, which was blown over during Storm Ophelia. 16,102,017. Ophelia arriving in Galway. Quick walk on the prom ahead of the hurricane. Photo Andrew Downs. 161,017. Storm scenes at Tramore Co. Waterford. Picture Dylan Vaughan. Provision 161,017. Hurricane Ophelia, fallen tree Knocknaheeny, Cork City. Pic Michael McSweeney. Provision Ophelia storm strikes in Baltimore, West Cork. Photo Emma Jarvis. Photography Hurricane Ophelia, fallen trees, N25 Cork City. Pic Michael McSweeney. Provision walkers in Clontarf. Pictured this afternoon as Hurricane Ophelia hits the country. Picture Colin Keegan, Collins, Dublin. A tree blocks the road at Kilbrittain Co. Cork. Picture Dennis Boyle. Photo Met Aaron. A surfer is seen on rough water in the Atlantic in an area where the tide should be out in the County Clare town of Lahinch, Ireland. October 15, 2017. Reuters. Clodagh Kilcoyne. Pictured getting ready for Hurricane Ophelia at Courtmacsherry Bay, West Cork was Martin Galvin and his son Adam. Their seaside home at Lobster Cottage sits in Courtmacsherry Bay, with County Cork expected to be among the worst affected counties. Picture Dennis Boyle. Angus Burke from Castlebar Co. Mayo. A member of Mayo Sailing Club preparing his boat at Rosmoney, Westport Co. Mayo before Storm Ophelia. Photo Keith Hennigan. Focus. Met Air and forecaster Evelyn Cusack at the National Emergency Coordination Centre today. Photo Mark Condren. Tributes have been paid to 3 victims who lost their lives in Storm Ophelia-related incidents. 3 people were killed as Ophelia left a trail of destruction in its path across the country. The victims were killed in 3 separate counties following tragic incidents directly linked to the strongest storm to strike Ireland in more than 50 years. The first fatality occurred at approximately 11:40 a.m. outside Aglish Village, Co. Waterford. Claire O'Neill, 58, died after the car she was driving was struck by a tree. She was due to celebrate her 59th birthday on Tuesday, October 17. Claire O'Neill, who was killed in a car accident during Storm Ophelia. Ms. O'Neill's mother, who is in her 70s, was a passenger in the car and was injured during the incident and was transferred to Waterford Regional Hospital. Her injuries have been described as non-life-threatening. Claire O'Neill worked as an oncology nurse for over 3 decades and recently worked as cancer support coordinator with the Cork Cancer Support House. She was a very jolly woman, very helpful, local shopkeeper Richard Hurley said. It's a big shock, it's a miserable morning, a young woman like that dying in such a tragic accident. The second tragic death caused by Ophelia occurred at around 12:30 p.m. in Care Co. Tipperary. Michael Pike, who was killed during Storm Ophelia. Local man Michael Pike, 31, was attempting to clear a fallen tree with a chainsaw when the tragedy occurred. Gardaí believe that Mr. Pike was attempting to move the tree on the Care to Ardfinnan Road, when another tree collapsed and struck him, resulting in him falling into the chainsaw. Emergency services were called but Mr. Pike was pronounced dead at the scene. His body was later removed to Clonmel Hospital. Meanwhile, at approximately 2:45 p.m. a serious road traffic collision occurred in the Ravensdale area of Dundalk, Co-Louth. Fintan Goss, who was aged in his 30s, was the driver of a vehicle when it was struck by a tree. It is believed the married father of two had been travelling home early from work due to the storm when tragedy struck. Mr. Goss lived in Ravensdale with his wife and children. They were supporters of Fine Gael, and last night the chairperson of Dundalk Municipal District, Councillor John McGahon FG, said this is an absolute tragedy. Fintan and the Goss family are extremely well regarded in the community. He will be greatly missed by his friends, family and the local community in Ravensdale. Our thoughts are with his family at this terrible time. Taoiseach Leo Varadkar extended his sympathies to the families of those killed. He has said that the full resources of the state will be deployed for the clean-up action. The full resources of the state will be deployed for the clean-up operation. Crews from UK and Northern Ireland will be in to help, he told RTE. He also urged continued caution. We have had 3 tragic deaths, but the most important thing is that no one else loses their life. There are still dangers even if the storm is gone. Following a National Emergency Coordination Group, its chairman Sean Hogan said there will be dangers even after the wind has passed. Unfortunately, this storm has left tragedy in its wake and we extend our sympathies to these families. Here's our latest forecast data out until 9 am. Winds are still significant, however they will ease as Ophelia moves off towards Scotland. Pic.twitter.com Oikux86 vet met Aaron at Met Aaron October 16, 2017. He said the next stage is now underway and clean-up crews are already on the ground in parts of the country. Mr. Hogan said the decision to effectively close down the country for the day by issuing a red alert weather warning was taken based on the best scientific advice. He said Met Aaron has entered uncharted territory, but the emergency group was in no doubt that it was the correct decision. ESB Networks has warned that it could be up to 8 days before power is restored to all homes. Assistance is to be flown in from England and Scotland on Wednesday to help with the massive power outages. Derek Hines of ESB said there are significant public safety hazards around the country. He urged people not to cut timber in a bid to clear lines but to instead contact ESB for expert help. The company will prioritize vulnerable customers such as nursing homes and medical facilities. People should not take any risks over the coming days, Mr. Hines said, adding there are 5,000 individual faults. The House have warned patients to expect some disruption this week as they deal with a backlog of cases. Some elective surgeries have cancelled on Tuesday. Brendan Lawler of the House asked that people only visit hospital emergency departments and GPS if it is really necessary. Education Minister Richard Bruton said the decision to keep schools closed was made in the interests of safety. It is recognised that the decision to close schools will have a major impact on families and on the workforce, he said. However, this decision has been taken in the interests of safety for children and to provide clarity for everyone concerned. Remaking up school days, my department will take stock and issue guidance as they have done in the past, having consulted with school management, he added. During the storm on Monday, Facebook Ireland activated its check-in feature in response to the storm. It allows people to mark themselves as safe, and there is also a feature for people offering or requesting support from their local community. People used the platform to offer to check on people in their area on behalf of concerned friends or loved ones and to offer other help, such as sterilizing baby bottles for people with no electricity. Climate Minister Dennis Norton said there is an urgency around planning for extreme weather events, as he warned that the frequency of such events will increase. We are going to see weather events like this happen much more frequently than we ever would have before, he said. We're going to see more of these storms, and we have to prepare for that. The south and southeast of the country were hit with winds of up to 150 kmph. Meanwhile, winds of more than 100 kmph were recorded at Malin Head late on Monday night as the storm hit the north of the country. The Defence Force also currently have 417 soldiers on standby who are available to assist in any operations, and soldiers have been deployed in Cork already. As local authorities work to begin clean-up operations around the country, with the promise of extra funding from the government, people have been urged to take care while travelling. Connor Fornan, AA Director of Consumer Affairs, said while the storm may have passed over us, much of the damage it caused will still be visible for the next 2,448 hours, so it's important that motorists check for updates on their routes before they depart, allow extra travel time and exercise additional caution. The association also advised motorists that insurance policies are valid for storm damage. Mr. Fornan urged drivers to take extra precautions for pedestrians and cyclists as the cleanup continues. He said debris and fallen trees will make the roads more dangerous for everyone in the coming days, so it's important that we all exercise additional caution to help minimize any further damage that ophelia could cause. The Road Safety Authority also called for vigilance. When Storm Ophelia has passed, the danger to road users will still be present, spokesman Brian Farrell said. Many roads around the country will be blocked and treacherous with downed trees, branches and pylons. Council workers and emergency services will be out clearing these routes, and people need to anticipate encountering these scenarios when using the roads. Hurricane Ophelia could cause almost €1.5 billion worth of damage to Ireland, according to a leading disaster analyst. It had previously been estimated to cost around €676 million in damage, but this figure has been more than doubled due to the storm's intensity holding up overnight. Chuck Watson, a disaster modeler with the Yankee Research Center in Savannah, Georgia, said that the storm is comparable to Hurricane Debbie, which wreaked havoc when it struck in 1961. People with longer memories will remember Hurricane Debbie in 1961, which at the time caused $41 million, €34 million worth of damage. It's a baseline and used as a reference. If that same storm hit today, it would cost close to $900 million, €761 million in damage, with inflation, growth and development, he said. Overnight this morning, Ophelia took a jog to the left and held a bit more intensity than forecast yesterday, so the impacts to Ireland will potentially be a bit worse than had the storm stayed on the forecast course. The current estimate is for $1.8 billion, €1.5 billion in impacts. About half of that is physical damage and the rest as economic disruptions to government, business, etc., he told Independent.ie. In addition to the potential damage Hurricane Ophelia could cause to Ireland, it is estimated that the massive storm will cost the UK in the region of $300 million, €253 million worth of damage. The estimated costs can vary, depending on which unit of model is used to measure the hurricane. Additional reporting by Press Association Online editors.